No. Do you see that? Yeah. She gave you a little bit there. Make you walk on the top.
No, you're on real man.
I didn't think you liked this one, but you do as you got a bit older. Okay, I think you're either coming up to 18 weeks tomorrow or you're 19 weeks. Good. What does that go big W for?
Special stuff or something, no? You keep forgetting that.
Because I don't write it down.
Exactly.
Was it contact? But I'm not going to buy it now because I'm going to use what's in here for the needy, which they probably won't use. I'll use that. I don't hear anything.
That's a very nice look, isn't it? Hi, Tammy. How are you?
Are you drumming?
I always have a stick in my hand.
Oh,
Actually drum real life.
yeah, no, not real life.
That'll be a surprise.
Might be a surprise one day.
Yes.
I can hear it when
Yes.
Where is the little princess? Oh, there she is. Oh, wow, she's grown here.
Oh, bloody hell, she's grown.
Right.
She's grown alright.
I think she's going to be 18 or 19 weeks tomorrow.
Wow, have you got this?
We got her when she was 10.
Yeah.
Got some yards,
Oh, I didn't know.
Don't blame her.
Oh. Well, Nathan doesn't always play.
Don't you?
You know what he puts on when he can't be bothered doing what I'm doing?
A laser.
The laser.
I do that. I do that with my dog, and that got him work because he broke all of his back leg and his front leg, and he was in plaster for like months, and he couldn't walk, he was like this.
Oh,
So
God.
the thing I got him was doing the lays up and down, and he'd chase it, and then he started building up his muscles.
Oh,
So,
good.
but you know, it sends him a bit schizo though.
Yeah.
And then every time I did it, like,
Mum, I'll need you out here, Clarice.
beautiful, you're so sweet. Yes, you are. She's got such a sweet little face.
Oh, she's a good one. Mum,
Yes.
I need you, please.
Just to let you tell me, I don't know whether he's up to something.
Yeah, I don't know either. You're as blind as me at the moment. I've just been beckoned here. So we will all find out together.
She's sniffing you when she was. She'll come.
I suppose we're all going to find out at the same time.
Oh.
Nathan's getting married and having a baby. Surprise!
No.
Oi.
Up there, up there.
Now.
Surprise!
Money girls. No. get into.
Do I just leave her?
She'll find
You'll
something,
find
I'm sure.
something.
You know what she does night time? This blanket.
Ah, is that hers?
She sucks it.
Oh, really?
She'd been sucking a blanket since we brought her home because she'd sucked my dressing gown. So I got that blanket out and she still does it. She goes like that and
Needs
then
it,
she
sucks
does.
it.
Yeah. And then she gets all gooey.
Oh,
Yeah. I've never known that before.
No,
And of course,
like she's still suckling like from her mum.
yeah.
It's
And
weird,
she does
isn't
it to that blanket. And Lauren said, that's the vet, she said that is so beautiful. She said she's very relaxed
Yeah,
if she does
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But then she has that silly little kitten stuff with
Psycho stuff.
Tia. She won't leave them alone and she gets the water bottle. And and it's just like when she wants to be stupid, she'll just go zoom, run under there and then get behind the side of the fridge. And she just does
Does she
it.
climb up the curtains?
She has done. That was one of the first things she did, and then she stopped it. And yeah, she's been a bit naughty with them, and so then if she gets too much, then she goes back in the laundry
Oh,
for a
time out.
Yeah.
Time
But
out.
she's
is
got
right.
her tunnel, which is
Oh,
came from
Yeah,
Kmart.
they're good.
Yeah. And the
All right.
Mum,
What are we
Yes.
here for?
What's wrong?
Timmy knows all about it.
Do I?
Mm.
What?
Oh.
Oh, right. Yep. Oh, okay.
That's what it's about.
Yep.
Now, Mum, where's your phone? Yeah, that's what it was.
Slow.
Go away.
Let me just put it on silent.
Just
It'll
on
be
silent, yeah.
no caller ID, so I'm guessing it's NDIS for somebody.
Ah, yeah, they do have a habit of coming up as that.
Yeah.
Mum, very interesting this is going to be. There are some things I need to tell you, but I needed someone to support me here.
I knew you were up to something.
Tammy knows all about it.
I asked you today, and I said, "Is anyone coming with Tammy?
No.
You up to anything?" No. Tammy just wanted to come out and see Molly.
Mum, ease on, please.
I beg your
I
pardon.
need you to be careful.
Oh.
Now, remember that FaceTime we had the other day, last Wednesday? FaceTime with Glenn?
Oh, you still on about that?
Just let me explain.
Oh,
You know how...
I'm sure Tammy knows a
Mum,
bit.
Tammy knows all about it. Now, Mum,
Yes.
when he FaceTimed me,
Well, I wasn't home for most of it.
I had 3/4 of it on my own.
Mm.
Then I heard Roll Dog go, and I was talking to him, and then at the start he was all right, but at the end of it, when you came in and spoke to him on FaceTime on my iPhone, at the end of it, it got a little bit much for me.
Right. I can explain to Tammy if she hasn't heard.
I've only heard what Nathan came and
Right.
spoke to me about during the week.
Well, of course he would tell you his stuff. I came home, I knew he was FaceTiming, but I decided I can't be in all of these. I was with my mum, and then I came home, probably the last 15 minutes of it. He was being the real psychologist then. Most of the other times is like a friend. And so I think I might have touched base on, I would have talked about Molly. And Nathan gets slack, he's been told by Natalie a number of times, when she gets silly, it means you need to interact with her and play with her to burn up her energy, because she will do things that is annoying because she's a kitten. And so I was talking about that, and I think I might have been talking about something else. I may have forgotten, it'll come back to me. And so then Glenn remembered from the time before that Natalie has spoken about these issues with Nathan before, you know. He
Oh,
can't,
really?
he just doesn't want to remove himself from the computer or his recordings in his bedroom when when I'm out here and need a helping hand with Molly. So he was talking about that, but then the real psychologist came in, and that's how it ended. But Nathan left, and I think he touched the W words, and so Nathan didn't like it, so he left. And when Nathan doesn't get his way, and these other things come out, that's what happened. So he said he had to go, and he asked me was I okay, and I said yeah, but it was a bit of a shock because Glenn's been seeing Nathan obviously since 2012. He knows him very well, and he has said that if he doesn't touch these bases where Nathan needs the help, and Nathan refuses, it gets too much and he shuts out or it's got to go, that's what a real psychologist or in that profession do, not just go in there to hang out, talk about everything that's happening or what he's doing, and he knows he records. And I think that was the other thing he spoke about, that Nathan can get himself into trouble, because he had told me that Nathan has said, I've done this in recordings, but don't you tell anybody. You can't say that, and he's a psychologist, so that's what that was about.
Now,
and he did say that he's seen him for 8 years, it's still the same thing. He says, I guess I'm going to see him for the next 30, who knows. But I have to have these things in record, and he was talking about the NDIS, or the NDIA, or one of them. And Glenn Bulk's billed Nathan now because he realised last year that Nathan was paying it out of his pension and getting the 80-something back on Medicare. So he says he really makes no money from Nathan because he decided to do that. And I said, do you want Nathan to start paying? He can start paying. And he did say no. That might have been the next time when he rang me. Anyway, so he said, I've got about 4 clients like this, so at the end of the day, well, because he can get audited, so he was talking more of that. But then he must have thought about, and I didn't know, was it the next day?
he rang the first day, mate, and you wouldn't have there.
Well, excuse me, I didn't know he was ringing, and Nathan answered my phone, and I didn't have a look because he comes up as Glenn. So I could tell there was someone on the phone that Nathan didn't want to talk to. And of course I heard him say, you're on Mum's phone. And this is Nathan's, Glenn. Well, I didn't know, I heard the voice. And then he said, here you are. So then he started talking to me, and he apologised to me for how it ended on Wednesday. Yeah, must have been Friday he rang.
It was Thursday, Mum.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, I get my days mixed up. Anyway, Tammy, that he apologised to me how it ended, and he'd been thinking. He says that Nathan is such a likeable, lovable young man, and don't get him wrong, he does enjoy having Nathan go in there because he brightens up his day, but at the same time, he's got some concerns of Nathan, and I'm not hiding anything, Nathan, because Nathan's like a detective, and he said that, did you know that he was ringing? And I said, no. And, you know, just because I went in Natalie's room to talk, I wanted to listen properly. So it was one of the days I was going to work, and just like today. And so anyway, that's what that was about.
Well,
And he said he was going to make contact with you.
he did.
Because,
He did call me.
because he is very
Yeah,
concerned.
he did call me.
Because Tammy rang me. Tammy
Yeah.
rang me. What's happened is, ever since that Wednesday afternoon,
Hmm.
I have made up my mind, and I spoke to Timmy on Monday. I went in to see her on Monday, and then on that same day, this was my idea. I went up to the gardens. Mum, I'm not joking here.
No, I'm not.
I'm actually
So
quite.
you've decided you're not going to see him anymore.
Exactly.
Basically.
Basically.
Lovely, son.
Well,
Well, someone's going to hit these things at you because you would need to see
Mum,
someone else.
hang on. Tammy, I seen Tammy yesterday.
Was that, when did you go? Because you came in to see him and
I
then you were
seen-
going and then...
And then after I came and seen you on Monday, I went up there.
That's right, yeah.
I went up there on my own.
He went up there, asked for all of his information and all of his notes and all the bits and pieces, and then I got a call from Glenn. He was quite concerned and upset and didn't kind of understand. So Nathan and I had another bit of a chat, and I suggested that we meet with Glenn.
Well,
Remember?
that was supposed to be
And
happening.
we didn't want to do, well, Nathan at the time decided that he didn't want to meet with
I
Glenn.
don't want to meet Glenn.
We did offer that for Nathan, and I spoke to Glenn about it, and then I rang Glenn back and said, I've spoken to Nathan, he doesn't want to meet with you. And then I think you rang...
I rang
Glenn,
around
didn't you?
on that afternoon and all that stuff and all that. And so now I rang Tammy's office yesterday morning, spoke to Brandon, didn't tell him what I was calling to speak to Tammy about. And then I got outside because Bridget was in the car, and I thought, who the hell's ringing me? Came up as Tammy Ritchie, and it was Tammy. And so I went into Tammy, and I'm not having any more males working with me in the mental health industry.
Oh, well, good luck with the females. You're ridiculous, Nathan, because Glenn has been quite soft with you, and I'm going to get a bit annoyed with you.
Well, Mum,
I'm letting you have it in front of Tammy. Now, Nathan, Glenn's been there all this time with you, and he was like a friend in some of the ways as well. He does have to put some pressure on you, and it is true. As soon as I put a bit of force on you, pressure that is, you just bolt. Now, you're 30 years old, and don't blame me for half of this stuff.
I'm not blaming you.
No, you need to listen. This is exactly how Natalie talks to you. She gets firm. You never ever liked it. So, if you don't sit down and listen and talk to your sister and let her tell you what she sees and what you need to stop doing, that is exactly what Glenn does. And you, I can't believe you've done this.
Well,
Do you want to just explain to your mum your feelings around this and why you come?
Mum,
I'm not going anywhere, I'm just getting a drink. I'm listening.
Mum, I think I'm getting another person, and we've
I'm sick of you having female after female. There's not enough males.
I don't want any more males.
Glenn
Mum.
hasn't done anything wrong. Tammy, I believe he still needs to give Glenn another go, but I still believe he needs another male for an assessment.
No.
And
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I agree, like with Glenn, with his long-standing relationship with Nathan, but maybe it's a good opportunity because, you know, Nathan's kind of not progressing anywhere, as you were just saying before, you know, like Glenn can't be a real psychologist all the way through because he has that long-standing thing. It might be a good time to get someone new in to do those assessments.
right, when he's by himself, because I'm not attending.
That's right, and this is his choice, so... Yeah.
Well, but he doesn't like the W word.
Well,
I still believe that at some point, probably not so much while COVID is here, but at some point that he needs a support worker to be with him and start getting in the real world of doing normal stuff and learning more things, not being at home, having recorded things in bags, recordings, and recording every phone call. Now we're starting to record different shows on the telly. And what he does with them, I don't know. You can't, if you want him to help, if I want his help with Molly or whatever, he's just like in another world. He doesn't want to leave whatever he's doing.
Do you think that's increased over the last
Yes.
6 months or so?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Glenn was getting very worried about that,
Yeah.
and he said it was time for a meeting with you, with Nathan, and said this is it. He is not going to go to someone else, sit there and say, he's going to say all the stuff that he basically might say to you. He's not going to open up, and if they touch the W word or group homes or anything like that, he's just going to go.
Mum, I knew you were going to do this, that's why I got Tammy here.
Nathan, what are you frightened of? I'm not going to slap you around. I'm not going to go off. I've had enough of this. I mean, Glenn was really good. And so he's done nothing wrong. And
But
you know,
maybe
it's
it's
like
time.
all these meetings that you need to have.
But maybe it's time, like, this is just my
Yeah.
opinion and knowing you guys as well, is that maybe it's time for Nathan to have someone fresh. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they might have a different way. Like Nathan's got this relationship with Glenn for such a long time, which has been good for him. He's now 30-year-old man. So hopefully things are starting to change for him where he wants to start working on some of these issues. But maybe because Glenn's got that nicer sort of, more friendly sort of relationship with him, that might be the best fit at the moment for Nathan.
But yes, I understand that, but I also know Nathan, if someone gets a bit too heavy with him, he's not going to like it. Well, if that's what Glenn did that
Yeah.
Wednesday, that wasn't heavy. No. And then he said to me on the phone, he said that he realised that he could be working with Nathan for another 20 years.
And not getting anywhere.
And so he said it was he's when he first met Nathan, he just what he got from Nathan is what he puts out there, and I'm hoping he explained all this to you. That
Glenn.
all he wanted, yeah,
Yeah.
it was his mum and sister and Chloe. He didn't want anything else. Then we've had all these bad things that go on over the years, wrong people, all those things. And Glenn knows all of that. And then he starts improving, and then things set back like Natalie and all that kind of stuff. And that, I lost it.
Can I just ask, Nate, when you have your sessions with Glenn, and I know you're talking, you genuinely like each other, but do you ever feel that you can just let it out and just be totally honest and trust that what you say, and you can get really down and dirty to what's going on in your mind? Because your mum doesn't know what goes on in your mind. I don't know what goes on in your mind. And I think if you can find somebody that you can trust and really talk to, that you can tackle those things that are holding you back. And obviously at the moment that's not Glenn for you. It may be later. I just, you can't force something. Like if he's got, there's no point continuing with forcing him to go and see Glenn. You know what I mean?
I do know that.
Yeah.
But Nathan has got it in for Australian unity.
Yeah.
He won't let that go, which is not healthy for him.
No,
He's still on about pets,
Yeah.
pufferfish,
Oh, mate.
and he's and a few others there. If he
Yeah.
sees them, it's just like he could stab them.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And do I? No.
But
no,
I think this is where working with somebody new, and if you're open to it, like, Nath, you can do anything you ever want in the world. You know that. You know, there's nothing except maybe a little bit of yourself that's holding you back from doing whatever you want. And I just think maybe with somebody new, but you've got to be on board with it, and maybe try some different things to start working through these things. You know, and maybe someone new too.
I don't
hasn't-
think a female.
Mum, I'm going to try with
Well,
a
we can
I'm
try.
not having any more males, Mum. It's not going to work.
But that also, Nathan, might be one thing that you need to work through with your new psychologist. So even if we can write a list of things that you want to slowly start working through, you know, like with you getting so sort of fixated on just Australian Unity
Personnel
or
group,
something like that.
Australian Unity.
Mum, enough, please.
But it's there.
I know.
He's got a lot of negatives,
Yeah.
and he won't let them go. I said, you don't have anything to do with these people, that you're with others now. And that was
Yeah.
then, I've learned from that. I didn't like half of that, but however, this is now. To stop living like that.
And it's easy for us to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's if Nathan's got somebody that he can truly trust with his deepest, darkest, you know, weirdest stuff that we don't want to know about, you know,
Yes.
whatever's going on. I think that would really help him because you don't know how to let go of things, do you? And then it just keeps going and going and it grows bigger and bigger and it's just a constant. And you know, I can sit here and say, Nathan, just put it to bed, move on. But that's not going to help you because it's still going to be in your head, and then you're going to get pissed off at me for saying that to you, and then, you know, it's just going to keep going. So I think it's unfortunate that Nathan's feeling this way about Glenn at the moment, but we can't force that to change.
And I don't like that he does things behind my back, and he doesn't like as soon as I go into another room.
Is that
He's
'cause
got
you
to
feel...
hear everything. I never said anything wrong. I agreed with Glenn, and this is serious. Nathan will get himself into trouble with these recordings, and Tammy, he's doing it now. You know that.
Yeah.
She already knows, Mum.
But
Stop
why? He does it when I talk to Nana on the phone.
Oh, dob me
He
in,
does
won't you?
it with everything.
Dobber.
Yeah. But
No, don't talk to me like that. I don't like it, son.
Okay, whatever.
But I think that in itself is an issue that somebody needs to be able to work through with Nathan, and it's not Glenn. You know, it's because it wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? Like, if Glenn's been with him for 8 years, Nathan wouldn't be feeling this way now. He would have, you know, these
It's
sort
like
of
an
behaviours.
addiction.
Yeah, exactly. It is, and it's kind of, and it is.
Obsessive.
Mum,
point,
enough,
yeah.
please.
I'm talking to Tammy, thank you.
Yes, Mum.
But I think though, with the right person for Nathan to talk to, have you done CBT before? Cognitive Behaviour Therapy? No, it's actually, Shaylee did it when she was really unwell, and it's like it's just like a different way of you training your brain to think, and you kind of go
I
through.
don't think he has done it.
It's not hardcore or anything like that. It's pretty. I think I've got some stuff at home from when Shaylee did. Nat would have done it at some stage, probably through her thing. And it's more. It's a soft approach to kind of getting your mind thinking in a different way. When we, you know, like what I see with you is you just on this loop, aren't you? You're just looping and looping and looping around, and it doesn't stop. So we need to have something in there to stop you looping.
And
Not
it's
looping,
just,
or going looping.
it's like Tammy, he enjoys having time with Bridget and going out.
Yep.
Natalie sees that as fun.
Yep.
And Natalie said, like I told Natalie that Bridget was going to help Nathan with his room.
Mhm.
Well, Bridget just stood in the doorway and Nathan was doing it,
Mhm.
but it was only about 10 minutes. So I don't know, my type of thing, what Jess used to do was go in there and show him or do a little bit with him and then just stay in there and make sure he does it properly.
She does watch me, Mum. Thank
So
you.
how long, you and Bridget have only just started doing that,
Yeah.
haven't you?
Yeah.
So,
And then
Second
on
time.
Wednesday, Nathan had 2 weeks growth on his face, and
Good.
it made him look old.
I tried to grow a beard.
But
were you clean
You-
shaven when you came and saw me on Monday? Oh, yeah, we're trying to do this and this.
So then Bridget went, got him to go in the bathroom, and she was in the doorway. I didn't watch. I was off doing something with Molly, and was it Wednesday? Or no, it was Monday.
Monday.
That's right, because I wasn't here yesterday when Bridget came.
Way
It was
back
Monday that she got in the bathroom, and then Molly was disturbing, so then the door got closed, and Nathan came out with fresh face. But need to do it again.
Kesh, you made me shut up.
It looks. I don't like it, Nathan, because what I see is something totally different, and your sister sees the same thing as me. And you are what you are, and you are so much of your father, so much of me. Yeah, and you probably got your nana in you, I don't know, but this negative stuff is nana. And so then he looked really good. And so he's gone really backwards in that way, and he's too much. He's just got to do everything. And if someone rings and we're in the car or whatever, he's got to put his might be the GoPro on to record.
Mum.
Tammy knows anyway. So
I know she knows, but
Yeah.
you don't have to go sprouting it to every man.
I
Dick,
don't
and Harry.
do that, Nathan. I'm doing this to
I
Tammy.
do it so I can play it back.
Yeah, and
I
then
don't-
it goes on multiple hard drives or
It's
whatever.
called back in the map, Mum.
Yeah, and you do
Don't-
it, and he used to do double of everything. Now it's about 6 of everything or 10 of everything.
This is very interesting.
It is. And now he used to do Better Homes and Gardens recordings. And like if he didn't get anywhere with Channel 7 or Channel 9, he's been recording. This is what Glenn is on about. This is getting serious stuff with Nathan. And now he's doing the Big Brother. He's recording that.
Mum, would you stop picking? Honestly.
I'm not picking. This is obsessive compulsive disorder, which you do have, but this is really an addiction now with
What
you.
medication do you take, Nathan?
It's not the medication.
No, I'm just because
Zoloft
as we get older,
and
Zoloft?
Risperdal.
and when did you have your last medication review?
That was years ago, I think.
Oh, I don't remember. Oh, probably
long time ago?
Was it with that Dr. Worth?
Oh God, he's
No,
back
no.
too.
What?
Oh,
You
he's
must be
come-
old.
He must be 120.
I
He
didn't like
flies in
him.
from. No, I don't either. He,
He
flies
wasn't nice
from
to me.
Sydney and comes and does a clinic at Mercy Connect once every 3 months or
God.
something.
He wasn't nice to me.
Doctor, Miss Professor put me on it. But
Tom?
Tom, Professor Tom.
So that's a long time ago then,
Yeah,
mate.
Professor Tong was really
That was
good.
who
Yeah.
put me on it.
That was you seen him
Actually, no,
the
it wasn't.
last of your primary
It was
school
Mark.
going on.
Mark put me back on it.
Your GP.
No,
Mark Norden.
Yeah.
Mark
Oh,
Norden
so-
released him at
So
22.
yeah, so a long time ago. A long
It's
time
not
ago.
It's not the medication.
No, can I just try to explain something to
Yeah.
you? With the medication, when you've been taking, and what was the other, risperidone?
I take Zoloft and Risperdal.
Yeah. So when you've been taking those sort of medications for a long time, you kind of get immune to them, and they're not as effective as what they were, you know,
I
a couple
guess,
of years
risperidone.
ago. So it's you know, yeah. You know, these mightn't be working for you now.
Well, why didn't I have a review when...
Well,
that's
you
what we can
refused
do.
to.
That's what we could. I
And he
think
hasn't
we
been
should
to
do.
David Oliver for a long time. I keep forgetting to book him in.
100.
And he doesn't listen to David because he says, oh, yes, Dr. David, he calls me, and I really get pissed off. And he was on about the sugar, and if you walked in there with a soft drink can, he'd read it to you. But he's only doing his job. But I'm not sitting in with that anymore either, because you need to go by yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something, Mum. If it turns out that it's not this, and it's the people,
Well, you are growing. You've grown, son,
Yeah.
and you had. I was always told he's 8 to 9 years behind his age with his learning.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's not acting like a 30-year-old. So he's down probably around the 19, 20. Sam's just turned 26, and he's definitely
That's
not.
a hard thing to do, because when, you know, someone young, like when you would have been in primary school and high school and stuff, and for people that have that intellectual disability, they say, yeah, well, you know, you might be 3 years, as I said, behind. I don't like any of that shit too. It's
No,
you are who you
but
are,
I
and this
know.
is what you do.
He-
But
when
then they kind of, people, we all get to a stage where we stop. You know, like we stop. So Nathan being 30 doesn't necessarily mean that he's 21. You know, Nathan is made up of a man that's 6 foot, keep growing every time I see you. I think
Yes,
he's,
or
you know,
he's
he's
shrinking.
gone through puberty. He's, you know, he's got different interests now. His learning will stay the same. What you can learn and what you want to learn about will stay the same. So it doesn't matter whether he's in grade 5 or year 10 or he's 30 or 50.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's going to stay the same, but him as a person and as a man is going to change
Yes.
all the way through. Like, you know, one day you'll be a cranky old man with a big long grey beard or
I
something,
call
you know.
him grumpy.
But that's what we have to, I think we have to recognise here is, you know, he's 30 now, so those younger things, those younger times have gone, and there's probably a lot that Nathan wouldn't talk to you or me about, that, you know, like, dare I say, but even, you know, like that sexuality and all of those sorts of things, and feelings and thoughts and things like that Nathan mightn't know where to direct that to.
Yeah, that's
So that
why
could
he
be
needs
feeding.
a male.
Yeah,
I
but
don't really know what a male is.
but that could be feeding into his OCD stuff, because you need to have control over something, don't you? You know, like, he's probably doesn't feel like you've, say if I'm wrong, but you mightn't feel like you have a lot of control in your life over what you do, your privacy, you know, who you hang out with, what you do during the day, your finances, your cooking, you know, you mightn't feel fully in control of your life.
The reason why, I was explaining this to Mum, the reason why I film Mum, because, goes on one thing, it's only up there for over a year, for this year. Once this year's gone,
Yeah, but you only do it because of that, and you enjoy it because you know how. You don't sit down and watch it.
you keep them.
You keep them just for something to keep.
No.
Like all his drum scene books. He'd buy them when they'd come in. He'd never open the plastic on it.
Well, they might be worth some money, they'd be in mint condition.
No.
Yeah, only won't throw them away, so half of them, or
No.
3/4 of them are in the garage. And his drum kit is there for show. He does not play it.
But do you
So
enjoy
Natalie said
it?
it was time it goes.
Oh, that's
Do I
a bit rough.
enjoy it? I love it.
Vic, what about, and this is where I think, I don't know, and I see this like a lot, and, you know, with my own family and stuff as well too, is we've got to also remember that Nathan does have a disability, and he does have some mental health things going on, and
I didn't know.
and as frustrating as it is for Mum, and I totally get that, Nathan does what he does because that's what he does.
Yeah,
He
because
knows
he
that.
knows
Like,
he enjoys doing it.
That's
He doesn't
right.
see it how everybody
no,
else.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Nathan, you know, I'd love to jump into somebody else's world and see what they see and how they see it. You know, and it's like kids with autism and things like that. We're always trying to change them. Oh, well, you've got to stop being autistic. Let's put all these things in. You would have gone through this when you were young. Let's stop you being you. Let's not stop you being you. Let's embrace you being you, and let's us learn about your world, and then try to put strategies in place where so it's not dangerous for you. So you're not getting, you know, too caught up in this OCD stuff at the moment, which is, you know, down the lines, that's what's going on,
Yeah.
you know.
And Tammy, like that Nathan with his camera, I don't know whether he's doing so much of that with Bridget.
I
or
am,
just
actually.
having fun. But also, you could do a course on that in basic stuff and
Yeah.
have a carer or a support
Absolutely.
worker go with you.
100%.
Natalie spoke about that with me, and she said because if he was so serious about that, he needs to learn the right way. And I know that Tammy has said things like
Yeah,
that
we've
before.
talked about this for a
Mum,
few
I
years.
know. Look, I know what people say. I don't know how many times I've got to say
Yeah,
it.
because you fear, you're scared, all of that. And if you're having so much fun with Bridget, but I do know Bridget's going to get worn out.
Speaking of
And
that,
she did say that when things get normal, she will have a holiday.
she did tell me that. Don't panic.
So can we just, there's a lot of things that, you know, we've talked about over the years and that too, that, you know, we think would be great for Nathan, that he would enjoy once he got over this fear. If you want my sort of opinion from what I've seen over the last probably 6 months, I have noticed that you are a lot more paranoid about stuff, right? And that to me isn't a bad thing. That tells me that something's not going right for you. Something's changed for you and you're scared, so you're trying to bring that control back in. And then that's what I'm talking about, the loop, you know, and it just keeps going round and round. So my thoughts would be, before, we've got to get him feeling better. You know, he's not doing this because he's trying to be an asshole or a pain in the bum, or he's not feeling well. Is that right? Am I right in saying that?
Oh, I just get sick of people saying things to me, and you know,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes people talk behind my back, sometimes, and I get the sense I'm like, that's what's going on.
Who's talking behind your back?
Mum, it's not necessarily you.
Or is it that voice in there? Because...
And that's what this stuff's not working on anymore. So my suggestion, Nathan, would be, let's see if we can get you to have a review with the psychiatrist to review your medication.
Well, that's what we put in for it, wasn't it?
The psychiatrist, you don't get funding for psychiatry through NDIS, you get it for psychology. So the psychologist...
So what was that thing we put in
That's
for
the
you?
psychologist.
Oh, okay.
So like a Glenn. But the psychiatrist, they're an actual doctor, so they will look at your medication, they can talk to Mum, they can talk to me, and what's changed for you, as you know, you obviously see it every day, and if you sort of look back, Nathan, 12 months ago to now, there'd be a very big difference for you as Mum seen.
Didn't you say when you were at Eva there was somebody called Matt?
He's a psychologist, so he's
I'm
not
not
a psychiatrist.
That's what Glenn is, psychologist.
Yes, so we need a psychiatrist to do a medication review. I think that's the most important thing at the moment, is to make sure. There's no point being on this crap if it's not doing any good for you.
Well, I think it's working.
Doesn't like change, I don't know.
Well, I think it's working.
He, you know, I find him a bit dopey. And he reckons, he says to me, because I forget some things lately, what are you doing behind my back? Are you up to something? And it's more like reverse it to you. I do forget some things, or mine's very much.
That's what happens when it comes to the 60s zone.
Oh, shut your hole.
Well,
But is that something that we can start on to get you to see a psychiatrist, Nathan?
see how it goes, but I reckon if I find that this is actually working, then it's going to be something else.
That's exactly right. You're spot on there. So let's do the easy bit first.
Who's
Okay.
paying for it?
And sometimes,
Who's paying for it?
well, there are some psychiatrists that bulk bill. They're like impossible to find at the moment, but I've got a couple of leads. I need you on the job. Got a couple of leads to try to track some down for other participants. So maybe David, make an appointment with David. And ask him for a referral to see a psychiatrist, and just say, you know, let him know, and he's great. You know, let him know that you've felt yourself increasing in your OCD and your paranoid and
You can't
and
talk
things.
to him.
Hey,
You can't talk to him because...
I can go with Nathan to an appointment. I can do that. That's fine.
Alright.
I don't have a problem.
Let Tammy do it.
I don't have a
He
problem.
doesn't listen to me.
But I think that if we have a chat with David, and he's known you for a long time too,
Yeah.
he might even just trial an increase, or like a slight increase for a while and just see how it goes himself. Or he might say, yeah, let's get you to go see a psychiatrist. But yeah, let's go David first and go and have a chat with him.
All right. Okay.
Because he's a reasonable guy and he's been around you for long enough to...
He's been the job for 30 years, that's what he told me.
Yeah. So, can we start there?
Yeah.
You happy with that?
I just haven't made an
Might as well.
appointment. I keep forgetting.
Okay, so you'll ring up and make an appointment?
Well, I do. We're down down.
You ring.
I actually.
So, I'm going to put down here, Nathan will ring Dr. David.
So what do I need to ask for?
Ask for an appointment.
An appointment, okay. I'll get you to take me.
For an appointment.
What days are you free?
Just book it, because who knows, sometimes with the wait, although they're not that hard to get into now because nobody actually goes and does face to face. Just ring and get the appointment. Okay.
And I'll let you.
And so
know.
Tammy will go with Nathan.
I can't ring Tammy on a work mobile phone. I was just diverted.
But you can, at least someone answers it.
Yeah.
And I don't have 100 missed calls. Or you can email me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
So that'll be the first thing that we're going to do.
Alright.
So we're going to ask for him to have a look at your medication.
Alright.
And maybe suggest a psychiatrist.
Okay.
And he's eating. He has a sweet tooth.
Nothing
He
wrong with
doesn't
that.
eat bananas anymore. Too much. He used to have them every day.
Why don't you do that? Do you not like them anymore? Is it as simple as that, or?
Oh, I eat them sometimes. I'm not going to eat them all the time, Mum. You can't.
Well, if you don't want him in a sandwich, like you've been making his sandwiches, 2 pieces of bread, tiny bit of butter in it, and a bit of jam on both. And he leaves them open, and he just eats like that. But I've sort of stopped buying white bread and getting wholemeal or grain, so he's just got to choose from that, and he does eat it. Or I buy the high fibre, low GI chia seed wholemeal, and he's eaten it. But he used to have banana sandwich, and then in the afternoon he'll have yogurt, bowl of yogurt, which is good. He's always done that. But I tell him then have a banana.
I do. That's what I do.
But they've been going bad. I don't eat bananas, but I eat other fruit. And there's the mandarins over there.
I don't eat mandarins.
Yes, you do.
Mum,
You just don't want
we
it.
are here-
And then
we
he
are
loves
here-
his chocky biscuits and and his soft drink. He just does, and he just eats fish and chips.
Maybe. Have you had a cholesterol test?
No,
Yeah, I had.
Yeah, I thought you had one a while ago,
Yeah,
didn't you?
I did.
And it was a bit.
That was
Maybe you
just
should
it.
have some bloods done and just check all of his levels.
Yeah, that's all fine.
Let's just check again. Because you're old.
Oh, thanks.
Everyone's old. Well, yeah, I know. When you're a man and you turn 30, things start changing. And then when you turn 40, they start drooping and changing again. So there's all this, like, men's health stuff that we need to make sure that you're, doing what needs doing, Like, one day, and I know this might say, no, you don't want to hear this, but one day you're going to have to have a prostate exam.
Oh, Jesus.
So there's all these, it's like with women, we have to have our boobs done, we have to have pap smears and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
But you're getting older now, so you need to take care of your health and what you're eating, and you don't exercise.
No.
So it'll catch up with you.
I know.
And I watched him. He sat in the car yesterday with Molly, and I went and got the hot chocolates. And then because I forgot his choc cinnamon special bread, which is a good bread.
Is this from the Chocolate Labrador?
Yeah.
I'm going to go there this weekend. I've not been there yet, but I'm going to.
And she closes at 4 o'clock on Saturdays.
Oh, okay. Right.
So 5 during the week and 4 on Saturdays. And I went back to the car. I had my treat. And I forgot Nathan's. Anyway, so he says, I can go back again. I said, no, I'm sitting in the car this time. You can go
Yeah, you
back.
wanted to watch
And
me.
then I was looking in the revision mirror, and I seen Nathan walking, and his tummy. I mean, I shouldn't talk. I have that little bit there, but but mine doesn't alter. It gets a bit smaller, then I get a bit bigger. But however, his little belly was moving with the jumper. I could see that, and I said, well, we need to start doing some fitness, or just enjoying a walk.
Yeah, just go for a walk. That's all you need to do.
Yes, Mum. You had. From now on.
I have to.
Would you do, and don't think this is W, right?
What?
Would you like go and volunteer? Because I know that they're looking for, because I've got another person I'm working with too, to go and walk the dogs.
Done it before.
Would you do that? Or even little old, Mrs. Brown around the corner or whatever needs her dogs walked or something.
I've done that with Nellie, and I was responsible.
Is that called poops?
No. It was just the poor dogs at the animal rescue. They don't get out of their cages, so they, people can go and walk them just to get them out and a bit of exercise.
No, I don't sort of like that kind of stuff. I mean, I'll go walk with Mum. All
right, we'll do that then.
You and I are walking.
Right.
That'll be.
So it's on you too, Kate.
Yeah. Well,
and Nathan, I want you to email me every week and tell me how many times your mum said, oh, I'm tired.
No.
Oh, it's too cold. Oh, my feet are sore. You got to drag her ass out.
Well, I'm
Such magic excuses
no,
already.
Pilates.
Oh,
I
God.
stopped doing that. Well, then I went into lockdown.
Yeah.
Then I decided I wouldn't do the winter. But I still have this problem. I'm not real sure whether they clean the stuff properly. So I don't really want to go back. But if I'm not going back for this year and start fresh next year.
Get your walking shoes on, girl.
Yeah. And I got to do my physio stretches
for your
because I'm
shoulders.
starting to get sore in my arm and shoulders. So I really got to, I got them here. I need to do it. So if I push myself to do, like I've said to Nathan, what's 15 minutes twice a day?
Yeah, it's not much, is it?
Yeah.
Am I
But
happy?
mind you, I can't go on an hour's walk. I'll have to
No,
ease
you
myself
just need to go
into
for a
it.
little, and you've
20
got hills
minutes
here, so
Yeah.
you just need to go for a little one. Alright, that's your job. Get
I
mum
said
fit.
we can walk down this way and go down Wagga
Yeah.
Road.
All right.
Or we can try the new walk path
Yeah.
that way and go around there.
Yeah.
So we must do that.
Alright.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Those quotes, are you doing anything about
The
those?
who one?
Those quotes I gave you.
Which one?
The.
Oh yeah, no, I had a quick look at them with Nikki. We're just, Linda's leaving.
What?
That's good.
Why? What happened? What has she done wrong?
No, she's just,
She hasn't run into you?
no, she's just too old. She can't keep up with,
Oh.
what I mean. Like it's a lot. Like she can't do what I'm doing, sort of thing. So.
Okay.
She's retired twice, so it's just too much
So
for
who's?
her.
I did see
It'll
a
be
thing.
me.
I did see a thing on Facebook. Not last night, not before.
What?
Something about.
Oh, for staff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just for support workers.
Oh, okay.
So I will be the only manager.
So who's the CEO?
Me,
Oh, that's right then.
yeah. And then I'll have Brandon,
Yes.
and he's going to be great. He's fantastic.
Yes.
And then Nikki to
Yeah.
help me with other stuff, and then see how I might have to get someone else on board too.
Just be careful, alright? Just be careful.
I'm always no. It'll be much better. It'll be much better.
Good.
So the second thing is we've put that referral through to the psychologist.
Yes, yes. Yep.
So which one are you going to use?
Neuro rehab, wasn't
I think it was neuro rehab.
it? They haven't called you yet?
No, they haven't.
Okay, so we only did that yesterday, Kay, so they'll
Right.
call Nathan and it'll be a telehealth.
Thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
They'll call me.
Yeah,
so
so...
is this what, a map?
No.
No. This is another mob in Albury.
They've got an office in Wodonga and here.
And they've got some, I think, Wagga and Camp, like they've got a few offices around, but we thought, well, we'll start with them, and if Nathan has his first session and he doesn't, because what we've asked for is so that Nathan can work out if that's the right fit for him, is do it weekly for a month.
What? They'd see the psychologist, yeah.
Weekly for a month, and then we'll review it at the end of that month to see if he's getting anywhere, if he thinks that she's going to be able to work with him or...
Right.
But there will be things put in place, like certain things will not be allowed to be mentioned, like, what Glen's been mentioning and all that. That's why I couldn't tell you on my own. Mum, please. This is why I had to get Tammy here.
But they're things we can work on. I think first thing, let's get to see David. Okay?
Yeah, alright.
That'll be our first job.
Okay.
And then we'll wait for this call from the new psychologist and see how it goes.
Yeah, sure. Alright.
Happy with that?
Happy with that, yes.
Cool.
Yep.
So where we're up to with Glenn, just because you're making this decision now, doesn't mean that, you know, when you're feeling better in the future, whatever, that you can't go back to Glenn either, okay?
I know.
Like, it's your choice at the end of the day.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
But I think it might be good for someone new to come in and might be a good thing.
So did you talk to Glenn by yourself?
I've spoken to Glenn rang me twice on it. Yeah. And look, he's a nice guy and he cares a lot about Nathan and, you know, but at the end of the day, it's Nathan's choice. It's the same as if Nathan stops wanting to work with me. You know, that'll upset me, but it's Nathan's choice at the end of the day. So.
No, that won't happen.
And if it's not working for him, there's no point. No point.
So, yes.
What do you
reckon, Molly?
We'll see how it goes.
Sit on my
So did Glenn say he would accept him back?
We didn't talk about that because at that stage Nathan was we were trying to get a meeting and then Nathan didn't want to have the meeting. Then I think I rang Glenn back and said no, he doesn't want to meet with you. And then I think I spoke to you and then you said you were going to ring Glenn.
Yeah, I rang that Monday afternoon.
Yeah. So he'll make it. It's just part of it. There's no point.
It's alright, Mum, don't worry about it.
Let's just see how this goes. Okay?
So don't go up your head once Timmy goes, please.
Yeah, have a soul off.
Oh.
and a spirit doll as well.
Oh
So
dear.
what do you think of this little one?
I think she's gorgeous. She's cute. She's got that little bit of fluffy about her. That's what I like when you had the two of them and you could choose. That she had that little bit
She's
of
very
fluffy.
smoochy.
She was so pretty.
She loves under the chin.
She was so pretty. You are. She's a good girl.
She's been lying there, listening to our conversation.
Yeah, thinking, God, these humans talk a heap of crap.
No.
Well, it's a lot of people out there that do.
Oh, yeah. Alright, guys,
Alright.
so email me or
Yep,
just give us a ring when you get that appointment.
Yep, alright, I'll let you know.
And then we'll go have a chat with David.
Okay, sure.
What are you doing with your hat, beanie on?
We're going out with some of the time.
Oh, so you put a beanie on and like that.
Actually, maybe you should go for a walk now.
Well, I'm going to go to work soon.
Oh, see, first excuse. That doesn't mean you can't. Doesn't mean you can't, Nathan. Alright, guys.
Alright.
I'll talk to you as soon as I get your appointment.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Alright, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, it is a nice day, son.
Yep.
Well, considering.
Is your mum is going to make me. Yes.
Hey, good boo.
I think you're nothing but a smart aleck, son.
I knew you'd do something.